Well, Miishe, thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you.
So, to start with, can you just tell us a bit about the project you're working on?
Sure, we are creating a visual awareness campaign over the weekend. So we're taking a massive piece of basically like butcher paper, it's like thick butcher paper, and writing a universal basic income slogan on it with a hashtag that'll lead people to an Instagram campaign and a bigger social media campaign that's trying to raise money for the Bootstrap pilot. So it's all sort of integrated.
Yeah. That's very cool. I know you were polling everyone at the Create-a-thon for a slogan. Have you settled or at least got a few contenders?
That was the hardest thing to do. First of all, we had a lot of contenders on the Slack channel. We had dozens of ideas. And I think one of the issues is an issue that probably basic income encounters all the time. It's like, what is the meaning of basic income? Like, what is the problem we're solving? So there were folks who said, we should be really specific and say like, we want to grab people's attention, but what if you had a slogan that says, what if you had your basic needs covered, which is what basic income does? And there was another camp that said we should be more aspirational, like a Super Bowl commercial. And we're talking about the American dream. We're talking about fundamental principles of freedom and liberty. What if we talk about that? And we sort of met in the middle by saying, what basic income allows you to do is the most interesting thing about it. So it is, in essence, it's a means to an end, but the end, in our view, is sort of like its character. So if you are free from scarcity thinking, you're free from relentless competition, you're free from feeling, oppressed or on the receiving end of whatever your boss is doing, whatever your company is doing, whatever the outside world is doing, and you feel empowered to do what you want to do, you are able to express your character in a way that you're not right now. So we decided to I don't know if I'll do the big reveal now, but we settled on a slogan that's basically, who would you be? Who would you be with basic income? Under the premise that it's not just about what you would do, although I'll tell you in a second, I would do things differently if I had basic income, but it's about the type of person you're empowered to be with basic income.
Yeah. So actually that's one of the slogans I voted for, just because I think that is very provocative to think not just like, oh yeah, it'd be nice if, like my rent is like pretty much taken care of if I got that money. It's much more utilitarian. But then to start to think about those bigger questions of like, whoa, like what if I didn't need my job?
Yeah.
I think that inspires a whole new set of ideas.
And one of the things that, I think this was yesterday when we had the discussion, it was probably, it's kind of like a group discussion with people talking about why they were here. There's so many existential, philosophical points that this movement touches on. And a sort of, people, we want it to be uplifting, we want it to be light, we want it to be accessible. But this is like, at core, a serious thing, right? This is like, why are we here as humans? How far up the Maslow's hierarchy have we traveled? How close are we to actually self-actualizing, given that, unlike our ancestors, unlike, even, many of our grandparents, we have permission in this society to do things and be people that we couldn't have been 100 years ago. What are we doing with that permission?
Yeah.
Can we create an entitlement so our children feel like, I don't want to be someone who goes to work and gives my grandparents and my children the short shrift because my boss asks more of me. I want to be the type of person who puts the people around me first. Like, do you have permission to be that type of person in our society? And I think basic income is saying, maybe 100 years ago you didn't, but now you do.
Yeah. That was something just recently someone tweeted at me saying that basic income's a terrible idea. If we had basic income, we never would have come down out of the trees. And it's like, that's exactly the point.
This is why we came out of the trees.
Yeah,
dude.
We're out of the trees now.
Right.
We can think about things differently than we did back then.
And it's interesting. This sort of ties into my own personal story. So I do believe that there's probably some segment of the population that would just sort of take it easy. But the natural desire for human beings to feel valued by others is core within the human psyche. And if you're sitting around doing nothing, even in a basic income world or not, you're not going to feel that value. Basic income is also basic for a reason. It's not,
luxury
Elon
income.
Musk income. Like we don't talk about it that way, which is it's just enough to subsist. So if you care about donating, or you care about traveling, or you care about going to Mars, or whatever is planned for folks with discretionary income, you still have to work. But if you care about your neighbors, or you care about elders or something like that, you are empowered to do that. So I think this idea that everyone's going to be lazy is sort of dismissive of human nature, of that thing in each one of us to do something that makes us feel valued by others.